I would find my person. That led me to you. That's the greatest thing I've ever done, single-handedly. It was hard, but it was the greatest thing I've ever done. And before that damn argument, I was so sad.
Oh gosh, okay, before you lied to me, before you did, just call me clingy.
Before you lie to me. Hey guys, welcome to Little Black Bird 91. I'm not here alone today. I am joined by the fabulous, the wonderful, okay, the entertaining, okay, the glorious, okay, all right, the magnanimous, okay, of creators on this space, and her name is Queen E, baby.
What's up, what's up, what's up? Hello, everybody. How y'all doing? Not the ooh-oohs.
Come
Yeah,
on
we're
now,
getting
come
ghetto
on.
already.
It's been a minute, baby. It's been a minute since we, collabed. I think it's like last
It has
year we
been
did
a minute.
Love Island. I think we did.
Yeah, and it was even the winter one. I don't think it was the summer one.
Yeah, it was a winter one, man. Can't lie to you. I can't keep up with that show. I can't lie to you. I watch after the first week and I'm done.
That is my bread and butter. I can never give it up.
I know you can't, but I just can't do it. I really can't. I really can't.
Okay.
But now we're here, Sha. We're here with Love is Blind. Now that's one show I can do. Okay, and this season has been crazy. You're talking about bread and butter. Let me tell you, this show is the bread and butter. I'm telling you, because it has had the ups, the downs, the twists, the turns. People saying yes, people saying no. We've had the fairy tale. We've had the nightmare situations. This season has really been quite an entertaining one as well. And I know you've covered it extensively on your channel as well. So, audience, please keep it cute and keep it classy in the chat. And we're going to be here for the next hour or so, just having a really great conversation about Love is Blind throughout the whole of this season. And I guess some of the most interesting points of the season. So make sure you like, share, subscribe, click on that bell button for notification of uploads. We appreciate you. Stay locked, stay loaded, and also subscribe to Queen E's channel if you haven't done so already. She has some really great breakdowns on your favorite reality TV shows as well. Queen, talk to me, man, because this season has been
I loved it. Absolutely loved it. It's so funny because my friends were trying to say like, this one, I don't know if there's going to be love. I don't care to see the love. I honestly like the various conversations. This to me has been the season with the most topics, and it's not just stupid hot topics that you expect from the shows. So I've been liking the breakdowns, different people's perspective on things. Sometimes I'd be tussling with my subscribers, but it's all in love. We're getting different perspective on a lot of topics that need to be explored, and I like that this season dove into that. So yeah, I'm here for it.
I love that. I also felt like this season was a great season. I said it on the very first episode. I said this is a storytelling we needed to have. Every shade to things like Ready to Love, who have let us down. I feel like the story writing has become Tyler Perry-ish, and I needed it to be better. You know what I mean? A shout out, they might never invite me to their channel again, but hey ho. But the reality situations, yeah, probably not. They need better storytelling, and I think sometimes we need to be able to look at other shows and go, how are they doing things? And I felt like Love is Blind got it correct this season. A little bit of carnage with a twist at the end, which I didn't know I needed, but there was just good coverage of the relationships that were actually happening. And I felt like they actually gave us a bit more in depth to be able to really get involved emotionally with these with the characters on the show this time. So I really, really appreciated the season as well. So I'm definitely with you. What was your favorite moment though of this season so far? I know we're on episode 12. We ain't got to reunion yet, but what's been your favorite moment?
Oddly enough, I'm here for Jimmy's pettiness. Like, typically, I don't like petty people. People on my channel know I don't like the tit for tat thing. I hate it. But I was here for Jimmy's pettiness. I really was, especially because Chelsea is just so infuriating. I was like, finally, somebody to just give it to her. Because I'm sure these manipulative tactics that she does have worked plenty of time in her life. And finally, it hasn't worked. And that gave me great joy.
Not you thinking great joy, Jimmy and Chelsea. I mean, listen, I think it was, for me, it had to be the Clay and AD situation. I was moved.
Which part?
Can't lie to you. Baby, the end, baby. Listen, I mean, the beginning part was kind of wild anyway. The Matthew situation was crazy in itself, but I mean, I loved this part because not loved it, but I felt for AD, even though she got it wrong, but I felt like it was painful to see them go to the altar and then him to say no as well.
Oh,
why are you rolling your eyes about that?
Kojo. We
why?
know how you feel
No,
about
why?
them. Oh, no.
Come on, talk to me. Why are you feeling like that about the Clay and AD? Yeah?
Because, when God, I said, here we go, here we go. But you know, handle it how you want to handle it.
I
Okay,
was
go ahead,
moved.
moved.
I was moved. When the spirit moves, the spirit moves. You know what I'm saying to you? When the unction comes, you can't be held by it. You know what I'm saying? It just takes you. You know what I'm saying to you? Don't worry, we'll have the second part of the conversation after. It's just that I was moved in that spirit. I had to give the first part of the letter. The second part will
I'm
get
glad
down
there's
to
a
business.
second part. Okay, praise God.
Of course.
Praise God,
We'll
praise
give
God.
that one. Do you know what I'm saying to you? But the
Okay.
first one, compassion. You know
All
what I'm
right,
saying? Let me
fine.
hold you a little bit, baby. Huh?
Okay.
You get me? So okay. Let's take it through the couples, right? Amy and Johnny this season. You know, I would say that most people found them a little bit boring. You know, I'm just gonna be honest with you. I think a lot of people found it boring. A lot of people found it. Just there wasn't much going on with their coupling, but they did have their moments. You know, Johnny doesn't want kids at a certain time, and he really meant he didn't want kids at a certain time, and she gonna be on birth control and da 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 da. That was kind of the extent of some of their troubles. And the dad, that never was the dad who was gonna be intrusive. Well, we don't know yet. He might be intrusive
Thank
later on, but we don't know yet.
you.
What's your thoughts?
No, I was expecting him to be like more like Bliss's dad, is what I was saying on my channel. I
Yeah.
expected Bliss's dad's energy, but girl, what was the fear? Like, I don't understand. My thing is, I can see why Love is Blind was trying to make them seem like the sweethearts of the season. It makes the most sense, but they didn't give us enough of their content for us to actually fall in love with them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even with the throwback to Raven and SK, their breakup to a lot of people was so heartbreaking because we were more involved in their story. Amy and Johnny, they were mainly literally background characters, people referring to them, but we didn't get to see much of them besides the birth control thing, which I don't get it, but okay.
No, listen, I'm with you. Like, I felt like, you know, do you know what it is? I just feel like, you know, a story requires some level of, you know, beginning, middle, and end. And I felt like this is one of those stories that, you know, get bestsellers, and they have particular authors or some of the particular demographic that aren't really great stories, but because there's some demographic behind it, it wins the Nobel Prize. It's one of those kind of stories that I felt with Amy and Johnny. It's one of those books that you read in school that they tell you is an amazing book, and you can't believe they won so many awards and they're an acclaimed writer. But when you read it, you're not inspired, you're not happy, you're not feeling anything from the story. That's how I felt about Amy and Johnny. It's like it does the job, but there's nothing inspiring about the story, because I think there was nothing for the, even though they give us part of the birth control situation, I just felt like there was no, I didn't feel like I could be invested in them. Something was missing from their story. That's why I could invest in them.
And I think in part it's a them thing, because I felt like there was more. I feel like the time we saw them the most was in the pods, and then out of the pods, when whose house were they at? I don't remember whose house they were at, but Johnny brought up a few things. Financial planning, when you have kids, what we're going to do with property and stuff like that. So I felt like they were trying to save face for a lot of this season. And I mean, the producers can only use what you give them. I think they handled a lot of their discourse offline. And so for us, there wasn't much to buy into. Because what do you mean that finance conversation came once and that was it?
That's a real good point. That's a very good point. Yeah, no, that's a very good point. Yeah, you're actually right. I feel like they handle a lot of stuff behind the scenes, which is why probably we didn't get any of those particular stormy moments or moments where we didn't. Do you know what it was? We never saw any character development from them. And I think, you know, whenever you're looking at one of these shows, you're oftentimes looking for heroes, villains. You're looking for character development from a character, and we never saw any developments necessarily from Johnny and Amy. Now I know they resolved a little bit of the birth control. She said she was going to go and get on it, but there was no story that was woven into it, so we couldn't even get on the tracks of maybe having that high and we're like, what? Why is Johnny doing this? And then the low, because like you said, I think everything was handled behind the scenes. So very respectful, and probably means that they're going to probably have a long marriage because they know how to handle things. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, it's great for them as a relationship, but as a viewer. We're not invested.
That's terrible, isn't it? We need carnage. Let's talk then. Obviously, we had Kenneth and what is her name? Britney. Kenneth and Britney. I mean, there was obviously talks about Kenneth being in a particular sway, obviously as well. But the biggest issue that they had this season was that, you know, they were connecting, but then it got to a point where I thought it was Kenneth that didn't have the feeling towards her, but some people are saying it was actually Britney didn't have the feeling towards him. I mean, how did you see that situation between the two of them?
I feel like at the beginning, definitely Brittany had to work up the attraction for him. Because I even said on my channel, like, she ain't feeling him. She ain't feeling him, right? Looking back now, knowing what we know, I think maybe it was on both ends more at the beginning than what it seemed like for me, because I was focusing on Brittany. And then when they got to, where were they at? In the Dominican Republic. When the man in the bed, because some people are like, no, queen, you're being nitpicky. That's what I do. Okay. He was being so performative. And he was like, okay, so every night what we're going to do is we're going to debrief our, and I'm thinking, okay, I understand it. Like, I get it. But you would think that's an organic thing that happens. And I'm glad that he wanted to promote communication. But if there was real attraction, yearning, want for each other, that would be just a little bit more organic for me. So that's when I started to see the shoe drop a bit. And then, well, hey, he had more excitement to see the damn dolphins than Brittany. So
Yeah, he really did. Can't lie to you.
yeah.
He really did. I mean, I think now I look back on it, yeah. Obviously, I still think Kenneth has a major part to play in it, but I don't know how much was that woman really invested in him. You know what I mean? Like, how much was she really feeling him physically to want to give that? But, you know, at the same time...
But I think she tried. I think she tried.
You know when... No, but okay, can we be honest here? Have you ever tried with a man and you know you ain't feeling him like that, but you're trying? You know the ones that where you don't fancy him, but you're trying?
Yes, but I think...
Go on.
I think she played it great, honestly, because this is similar to the JP and whatever that girl's name is from the last season, right? Because do I actually think that girl was attracted to JP? Absolutely not. But because JP was the focal point, she could lean into the, and I'm just trying so hard and it's just not working. So I'm going to go with that because that's the trope that she gave us. She was trying. So I'm going to say that she tried. She tried and he fumbled.
I think she tried. I'm just saying that. But you know what happens when you try and it's not there for you though.
No,
you know
I know. I know what you're saying.
We also gonna feel that too. That you ain't feeling me really like
that. Wait. So you're hold
on, Queenie. You don't play me like that now, Queenie. Come on, don't play me like that, Queenie.
Go.
Okay. What you're not gonna do, I'm gonna take a book out of Chelsea book. You ain't gonna interrupt me. Okay. All right, jokes. But no, I mean, you can disagree. I think personally, as men, we do understand when we know when you're reviled. We know. You know when you touch, we know that feeling. You know what I'm saying to you? So all I'm saying is, you know when a girl doesn't feel you like that, it's not attracted to you, and when they touch you, it's not really a touch. You know what I'm saying to you? It's not really a touch. I'm sorry. Go on.
I hear
Tell
that.
us your thoughts.
But are you trying to tell me that Kenneth only pulled back because Brittany wasn't giving him the energy? Police.
Fair enough.
As soon as that man went over to AD and Clay and talking about, oh wow, some black love. Like, I don't know what part of that storyline was really getting them going, but it was getting them going more than Brittany was. So please, I'm not gonna put this on Brittany like, oh, because Brittany wasn't giving him the energy, that's why he chose to pull back. No. I
think it's a bit of both. I think she didn't give I don't think she really was feeling it. And I feel like, obviously, at the same time, I think he wasn't really feeling it, if I'm honest with you. I don't think so. And I think, I mean, I always go back to that moment when they had the reveal. He couldn't even touch her. I couldn't even lie to you. And I knew he had his hands in his hand like this, like he was in a pulpit about to confess to the priest about his sins. And I just knew that this is not going to work. It's not going to work. And his behaviors kind of showed that as well. Do you know what I'm saying to you? So I'll be honest with you, we didn't get to see him try and put his foot forward to try and make effort in terms of physical touch and stuff. And we did see that he wasn't really showing some desire there. So I'll agree with you there. You know what I mean? I'll come to your side.
We're both agreeing. You know, we're both devil's advocate kind of people. Even though the devil doesn't need the advocate. So this is for entertainment purposes.
That man did not like her one bit. That man did not like her.
Like, please,
he did not like her. It was clear to see.
Yes.
All right, so Kenneth and Britney done. Okay, so let's talk. Obviously,
wait. Kenneth and Britney done. What do you think about their breakup conversation?
Yeah, I mean, was that a conversation? Because
Well,
it's barely a
whatever it
conversation.
was,
It
whatever
was
it was.
barely a conversation. I mean, listen. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Um, Kenneth looked like he was over it.
Hmm.
When you and it looked like he was done. I can't lie to you. He looked like he was done from early. You know the ones where the ones where you're on your phone and you're just like, I really can't be bothered with this conversation, but you're gonna have it with me, so I'm just gonna entertain you in this moment. Olga's breaking down, and brother's not really involved in a conversation too tough. For me personally, I wasn't feeling the conversation that greatly because I think when someone's giving you a vulnerability in that moment, whether you're gonna break up them or not, give them that grace and give them that also that attention in that moment. I know he was kind of looking at it, but then the quickness of grabbing his phone and leaving just told me that that brother was ready to go. He had his bags packed and he was out of there. So yeah, how did you feel about that
Yeah.
conversation?
I mean, now that I've had a little peek behind the veil, apparently that was a reenactment of the breakup because they had already
How
broken
do you
up.
mean reenactment? What do you mean?
And literally, they've already broken up off camera. And apparently, it was Britney who initiated the breakup. But for storyline purposes, it went the way
They
that
had to
it
do that.
did. Yeah, exactly. So I'm
Oh,
just like, okay, I do think,
now it makes
even though I
sense.
do think lack of attraction was present on both sides, I do think that Britney, it was just like, okay, like if you're at the very least not going to be present, and for me it's not even the phone thing. I feel like mentally he was just checked out from
This
time.
guy's like, yeah.
And then even the night that they was it the night that they broke up, he had said he was out with his mentor and then he went to get his hair twisted. I'm sorry, like, it's the same thing that I'm looking at AD for. Like, why are you guys allowing these men to be out at these weird hours of the night? And we're supposed to be forging a relationship here. It shows to me that you're not trying. I'm not going to try either. Let me just remove myself. Let me just go.
Mm.
So, yeah.
No, I hear what you say. I didn't know if it was a reenactment, then that would make a bit more sense as well. Then and then like someone said there, they set him up with a crying. I ain't gonna lie to you, that's a setup. Because if you
You
know
know
we're
what is it?
reenacting
Mm-hmm.
and you crying like that when we've already discussed it, and you know you broke up with me, that's giving the white woman tears. No offense, but it's giving the white woman tears. Because why you gonna do that to me there? Why you gonna do that to me there? You know that's
But
gonna make me
he,
look bad.
ooh, yeah. Mm-hmm. What?
Oh, you back? Sorry.
Oh, was
Girl,
I
they had
gone?
you on a they had you on a still shot.
Oh, no. I was just saying, like, I don't know. A lot of the things that Kenneth was bringing up, to me, the 25 was 25ing because you already knew from the pods that she was white. So it's going to come with its own nuances in your own relationship. So him now asking certain questions after the fact, I'm like, I don't know what you thought this was. I don't know who you thought you were going to be matched with, but clearly you were in over your head. And I don't care
Mm.
who is to blame. I'm just glad that it ended. So, yeah.
Yeah, you know what? He also had to take some blame though, because when, like I said, a conversation when someone's having that emotion, you got to give them a little bit of that back. You got to mirror that a little bit. You know what I mean? Just so
Yeah.
that because it's gonna go on TV. So the fact is reenacting, he should come on there ready. Because what I'm not
No,
gonna let you do is I'm not
facts.
gonna let you play me with the tear. I'll have been like, I gotta give you a performance because you are not gonna outdo me. Because first of all, I know you're
It's
white.
true.
Number two, I know I'm black. As a male as well, I got two strikes on me already. So I need to make sure I come correct and be like, this is a really deep conversation. But he just didn't care, and now it's cost you because now we're looking at you as the villain, and this is a story they wanted to tell. So yeah, he gonna learn from it next time. You know that you come correct to the table, and when she starts crying, you also come with the.
Don't kill me. Move
You got to
on.
do the head movements. It's like,
Now you're teaching him how to be manipulative.
you got to because old girl spun us all a lie. If out here crying and
Yeah. I mean, this is what I heard. I heard that the this breakup was a reenactment. So
I saw in the chat as well. Someone said it as well. That it was apparently it was a
yeah.
reenactment too. So um, you know, so that's the thing right there. But
Hmm.
to be fair, I wonder if his mind also was kind of shifted with the AD conversation because I know he was a little bit dodgy anyway before when he come to reveal. But I think that AD conversation also sealed the deal. I felt like that AD conversation just kind of just threw him over the edge.
No, I agree with you. And I think that if it did, you shouldn't have come here in the first place because why are you only thinking of this stuff after the fact? Like, no. And if you were so sold on black love, don't come on a show where that's not an absolute guarantee.
That's true. That's true. I hear that. No, that's fair play. That's fair play. Maybe he wanted. Maybe he just thought. Okay, maybe not. I mean, maybe he thought God was bringing it. You know what? They knew what they were doing. He just thought. Maybe he thought that God is bringing something. I mean, personally, it wouldn't have been me. But someone said Ken is rainbow. But anyway, listen. Let me reset the room before we get to the next part. We're 20 minutes in. Thank you guys for joining us so far. This is a great collab between myself, Queen E, and Little Black Book 91. This is the fabulous monogamous. Wow, my English is finishing me. My finish is wow. Let me put a Kenneth. Let me restart that. This is the magnanimous, glorious, wonderful Queen E joining me today, talking about Love is Blind. We're running through the whole of the season.
I mean, I am monogamous. I am, but
are you? I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. I don't want to assume. You know what I'm saying to you? My bad.
Yeah.
Okay, not Polly. Okay, great. Thank you for saving me. I took it somewhere else. But listen, if you're joining us, make sure you guys are like, share, subscribed. To both our channels. And if you love my mistakes, continue to support me and pray for me as well, okay? All right? I'm bound to get a name wrong and I'm bound to spell something wrong. So that's me on this channel. We have 800 people in the room. So shout out to you guys. Come on, look at them. Them seeing them black excellence. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. All right. Let's actually get together. All right, cool. So let's move to the next one because obviously Trevor, Chelsea, Jessica and Jimmy, because we had that. There was Chelsea and Trevor, and they were sitting in a tree, and there was KISS. No, there was no kissing. But no, we had Trevor and Chelsea. We had obviously Jimmy and Jessica. They obviously had their situation from the beginning of the pods until towards the very end, where obviously Jimmy chose Chelsea. And Trevor and Jessica got the opportunity to speak to both parties. I want to know, what's your thoughts about this situation from the very beginning? How did you see it? What was your kind of thought process watching that awesome foursome, get trailed down to the last two?
I mean, it's interesting knowing what we know now about Trevor because I was getting cooked at the fact that I didn't believe anything that Trevor was saying. They didn't like that over on my channel. So knowing what I know now, I feel vindicated. Look at me.
What do you know about Trevor now? Mm-hmm.
He had a girlfriend the whole time.
I told you that guy was too nice to be true. But anyway,
That's what I'm saying. Listen, maybe there are men out there who think that butterflies and sunsets give them life, okay? But sir, as soon as that came out of his mouth and he said, favorite movie is The Notebook, I said, this man is performing. And unfortunately, there's going to be a woman in here dense enough to fall for it. And here goes Chelsea. And I feel like Chelsea, obviously, as we know, turned this experiment into how can I be the victor over all these other pretty women? We know she's a very insecure girl, let's be for real, right? So when you have somebody like Jessica, who, if we're going to call a spade, a lot of people would see her more desirable. To win over Jessica is such an ego boost for somebody like Chelsea. So realistically, if Trevor would have gone first and maybe Jessica wasn't in the equation, I feel like absolutely she would have gotten engaged to Trevor. But she wanted to win. And then my issue with Jimmy the most time was he doesn't say how he feels when he feels it. And sometimes it is good to take some time, decompress, and then come back with your thoughts aligned. But to always be like, let me just sit on this. Let me just sit on this. It's not effective, especially in this expedited situation, right? Like if something's bothering you, bring it up. And then we can fast forward to the end. Some things were bothering him, and then he chose to spew it all at once instead of addressing it when it was present. So that's my issue with him. I'll let you talk. I'm rambling now. Go.
No, you weren't rambling. You're on point. I mean, I think I said it on another round. Jay, one of my other co-hosts, her channel, and I was saying that I felt like Chelsea couldn't choose Trevor because he was too sweet. Now, aside obviously his shenanigans, I just felt like he's very sweet and very nice. And whenever you find people that are very sweet and very nice, they're usually manipulative, not because they're bad people, but just simply because they use their niceness as a weapon as to try and get you to like them. And so I was like, it was too nice, too sweet. the cake was overdone. There was too much sugar in it, and I was like, it's actually really kind of overdoing it a little bit. Now, I didn't even really think about the notebook part. I was just thinking to myself that he's just super nice, even if he wasn't doing anything. It's hard for women to want to buy into somebody who's that nice, because the first thing you're thinking is, I can take advantage of him. And that's just the reality of life, right? No matter how big and brute of a man he is, all it's giving is that you're too sweet, and more than likely you'll let me walk all over you. You know what I'm saying? So I felt like she was never going to choose him for that particular perspective. He needed a bit more grit and a little bit more bite. You know, I was just talking to my friend about this the other day. I was like, you need a little bit of darkness with your light. Okay, too much light gonna make people not want to be invested in you. I'm just gonna be real with you. You need a little darkness.
I have an issue with you with you.
Yeah,
I have an issue with you promoting all these dark arts, because why?
You know I'm not lying.
Why do you do this?
Go and tell the truth, Queenie.
No,
Go and tell the truth.
No, I feel like I agree with you when it comes to nice people. I don't trust nice people. Even for me, when people come to my channel and they think, oh, you're just so bubbly, whatever. I said, don't get sold on that, because that's not real. Like, it's just not real. It's performative. People do have a dark side to them. I have an issue with you promoting it, but it's true.
Why you got an issue with me promoting it? No,
because I do think that there's a way to tackle adversity in relationships without going to the darkness, without going to the toxicity. That's why.
Okay. Toxicity is probably less of the darkness I'm talking about. I mean, you have to have a little bit of a grit. You need to have a little bit of, listen, someone might call it manipulation, but the definition of manipulation isn't always.
Is that not toxic?
Nope, because manipulation also means to be able to wield a skill in a particular way, a mastery. So you also need to be able to master, one, your emotional intelligence. You need to master the mystery of your individual personality as well. You know, you need to have a little bit of something that's a little bit coy. You can't expose everything. You see, when a book has been written, everything on the first page, nobody enjoys that book. Nobody enjoys a trailer that tells you everything in the trailer of what's going to happen in that film. We need a little bit of mystery. And so that mystery is what intrigues people and what people want to be able to. You need a little bit of danger. See, the beautiful thing about a flame is the fact that it has the ability to burn and to give you warmth, but it also has the ability to burn you if you put your hand in the fire. We need a little bit of both. You need a little bit of that dance. So as an individual, that little bit of darkness I'm talking about is more about the ignorance of not knowing exactly what's on the other side. What is he about?
Trevor agree with mystery. No, I agree with mystery, but
you're just saying about the dark arts.
Yes. And this is outside of this video. You Kojo, like to promote dark arts. Okay? But okay. Not what scripture is this? Yes, what Grace and Mercy Saved said. What scripture is that, Kojo?
I'll tell you what scripture is. You ever read the story of Jacob, Laban, and Rachel and Leah? You know what happened to Jacob? Jacob forgot his dark arts, and the whole dad came and gave him the first daughter. He got played.
Bye.
And you know how he did it? He did it in the darkness. Do you see how he did it? He did it in the darkness. Don't play with me. He did it in the darkness.
He was still favored after he put in that work.
He was, but had he not forgotten his dark arts, he'd have remembered that, hey, other people also play dark arts. Maybe I shouldn't trust this dad. Maybe I shouldn't just sleep with the woman that's in my bed. Maybe I should smell her a little bit. Let me just make sure that she actually is the woman I need in my life, right? And he didn't even do none of that and ended up having sex with the first sister. Now, how are you going to do that when you've worked for 7 years over that woman? That tells me you didn't even know who she was. You know what I'm saying? I would at least...
No, but then bringing her to the altar in disguise, I know this is totally off topic. That's wicked work. But anyways, let's move on.
We do that in Africa, don't we, though? We bring the brides out, and you have to tell what bride is your bride.
Yeah, maybe they do that in Ghana. They don't do that in Zimbabwe.
Yeah, but you don't get in the bed, though, with that person. If you do, you should know a little bit of the figure at least. You know what I'm saying to you? Anyway, I'm off topic. Sorry. I brought the Bible to y'all. My bad. Sorry, what was talking about? Sorry. Chelsea, Jimmy, Trevor. Sorry, too much Trevor. So Trevor... Obviously, Trevor was obviously this super nice guy, and you know we're both agreeing. I think he was not who he was put out to be, and in the end, we saw that Chelsea didn't choose him. She actually chose Jimmy as well. What was your thoughts when she actually chose Jimmy? Because it was a split, decision at that point in time.
I mean, that's when it affirmed to everybody that this was a competition for her. Because you knew that wasn't your person. The way that he reacted to stuff in the pods and she got emotional about things, and then she would affirm Trevor for how he reacted to things. She already knew this probably isn't what I should do, but because she had some semblance of a connection with him, and because what's her name was in the picture, she was like, but I could be old girl, so come out on top. Maybe that's the better way to go. So yeah, because Trevor asked the right question. If I had gone first, would it have been a different answer? And she could not answer that because she knows.
Answer. Yeah.
She knows.
Yeah, I agree that part. No, I agree that part, 100%. Obviously, Jimmy and Chelsea then got together. He ended up not choosing Jessica, who came with the EpiPen situation, because she thought she was going to get chose too. And she thought she was too nice to get rejected, but she found out the hard way like everybody else does. That this experiment isn't just about your looks. You need to have more than that. I think that's what she probably lacked and didn't realize, that maybe you need to work on your personality a little bit, and not just your looks, because the experiment is all about people's personality coming through. What was your thoughts? Yes, go for it. Yeah.
Can we even say that though? Because whether it was direct or indirect, Chelsea sold an image of herself that did sway Jimmy's opinion.
Absolutely.
So it's not a thing of looking at Jessica saying, well, it's more than personality. Without the trope of Megan Fox in his mind, would he have made the same decision? We don't know. Probably not.
I think he would have been less sold. I think he sort of chosen her simply because of the kid situation. If the kid situation wasn't there, he would have chosen Jessica straight up. I think the kid thing just kind of sent him over the edge a little bit, and Chelsea would have been his shaky choice, and he would have been waiting for an opportunity to get out. But once, obviously, Jessica said she had a kid, that just threw him off. Once she said Megan Fox, that really sold it. You know what I mean? And that would sell most men who like Megan Fox. Now, it wouldn't have sold me. But if you told me you look like Megan Good, now that would have sold me. Okay?
Don't
the wrong
tell
Megan.
me. No, I hear that. But that's why I'm saying, like, to say, oh, Jessica needs to work on her personality more because this experiment is more about personality. In this case, when it comes to Chelsea, I don't know. I don't know if it applies with them. I will say Jessica's conflict resolution skills would deter anybody, because the way that she like snapped in the end there, I wouldn't want to deal with that. And throughout the pods, Chelsea had been pretty even keeled, besides the time that she cried for absolutely no reason. But for the most part, she'd been even keeled. So I would be inclined to pick Chelsea over Jessica because of that, taking away the physical and whatever. But yeah.
I mean, listen, and like I said, you see why I say you need a little bit of dark arts in there? You see? This is why you need a little bit of darkness in you.
Why?
Because
Tell me.
You see what Chelsea did there? Now, it was cheeky, but it was dark, but it was beautiful, okay?
But look
it was
where
like
she
a
is
dark
now.
forest berry chocolate gâteau. Now, that's because she got poor resolution skills. Had she not, she could have been married by now. But she has poor resolution skills and insecurity. But had she, had a little bit more confidence in herself, they could have been sold. Because honestly, once she dropped the MF in there, it was like the hammer that hit the nail on the head, and Jimmy was sold. And had she looked a little bit more like MF, which she did not one bit look like MF, then this could have really worked in her favor. Okay, I know that she said she did the eyes only. The eyes only. But that's dark
Give
arts.
me an example in Love is Blind where dark arts, still to this day, has ranked you as being successful.
You're asking a very difficult question right now because
why?
examples right now. Because you asked me to bring examples right now, and I can't necessarily bring those examples necessarily right now. Do you know what I'm saying to you? Right? If maybe if I go through the season, take my time, I can present some of those things. But in reality, what I'm saying to you is you need to have a little bit of je ne sais quoi about you. You got what I'm saying to you? Yeah, a little je ne sais quoi. Yeah, it doesn't mean lie. It doesn't mean lie. It doesn't mean come out there and lie. It means have a little
manipulate.
je ne sais quoi. A little manipulation is not bad. Let me tell you why it's not bad. Makeup is manipulation. It is manipulating the face to make it. You know what I'm saying to you? That's also dark arts. To put yourself makeup on is part of the mystery and bringing out the qualities of your face that you have. And you put the makeup on to expand and to expound the beauty that you already have. Do you see what I'm saying?
You just want to get cooked, huh? You just want to get cooked.
What? It's the truth.
Let's move on before they cook you.
I want them to cook me. I want them to cook me because the reality of the situation, makeup is manipulation. Because you manipulate your face to make it a certain way, to look a certain way. So it is a manipulation tactic. It's not, and the reason why people are going to get it wrong is because they think manipulation is negative. To manipulate means to wield a skill in a particular way. It is to bring its mastery of. So if you master the skill of makeup, you can make your face look a particular type of way, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's a mastery of the skill you have. And when people only have one idea of what manipulation is, I would say go to Google and let Google educate you. It doesn't mean just that. It means also to master a skill. So when you put makeup on, you are mastering a skill of enhancing your beauty, and that is good. You know what I mean? There's bald men out here who got hair now, okay? They are also doing manipulation. There are men who've got no beards who are putting beard gang on. They are manipulating the situation. It is manipulation. People don't like to talk about it, but that's what they're doing. It's all part of the mystery and all a part of the beauty of people. We need it. They're going to cook me, but let them cook. Because you're going to learn today.
Let
them cook, baby. Let them cook. The man them are agreeing, but the women are like, no! He's mad! You will understand it later on, don't worry. My dad used to say to me, you see these eyebrows? They came before the mustache. Sometimes the mustache doesn't understand what the eyebrows are saying. It's okay. You'll get there.
Oh,
now,
African. Wow. God.
Sorry, I'm being a bit facetious today. You know what I mean? I'm being a bit naughty. But no. Back on to obviously Chelsea and Jimmy. In the end, Chelsea, chose Jimmy. Jimmy chose Chelsea. He didn't choose Jessica. Jessica, obviously, EpiPen situation. Like, we're going back through that again. But now, obviously, at the point where they actually got to see each other and stuff. And this was where a bit more of the games were kind of happening. I'm not gonna lie to you. I thought Jimmy might be moved a little bit more, but I think because Jessica came a little bit strong. I think she also needs to learn how to be a bit. She's very heavy-handed. You need to be a little bit more delicate if you're gonna try and win this man. Yeah, it was a bit more like she was too arrogant with it. Like, I'm gonna win him, and it's like you need to have a little bit more of the coyness. But I don't think she had that in her artillery. She'll learn. What was your thoughts, obviously, seeing that where Trevor and Jessica got to talk to Chelsea and Jimmy? What was your thought process to some of the conversations that we're having?
I mean, I think it's very telling the fact that they both couldn't adamantly shut down whatever residual feelings were happening for those people. I do know that it probably is because it was producer led, like, hey, have this conversation, talk about whatever, right? But if you are so sold on your situation, I would assume you wouldn't try to give any kind of leeway for people to say, oh, is there trouble at home? Because what did Chelsea say? Oh, everything's been great, but as of late, we've been fine. Why
are we saying that?
Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. Who cares? You like what you got going on. Don't give them any kind of ammo. Don't give them any kind of anything. So that was a telltale sign, like, y'all are not as sold on each other as y'all make it seem. But again, because it's a show, it could have been producer led. We don't know. But yeah, that was my issue. They didn't close the door firm enough for me.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely with you. I felt like, and even Jimmy at one point also said, you were my number one. I was like, wait, why are we telling someone that they're number one? Like, what kind of conversation are we really having? So yeah, I was a bit, concerned about why both of them were having these conversations. Why Chelsea was telling Trevor they had trouble in paradise. Why did he need to know that? I didn't understand that. And then it switched to obviously where she said, obviously that's what happens in the end, where she says about how Amy and Johnny are the strongest couple, and actually that's part of the argument that happens at the very end. So yeah, I was a little bit dumbfounded by that situation. I was like, what's going on here? Why is that situation really happening? Why are people talking about their relationship with other people they know there are the potentials? Jessica at one point saying, have you still got your band? I still tap mine. I would absolutely lose it. Talk to me.
No, that is madness. Like, I've never seen somebody be so firm in their double standards. She has an issue with the texting from Jimmy and whatever. Your best friend is your ex-boyfriend. You have a wristband from another ex, whatever. You create issues out of nothing. Your insecurity is just spewing onto this man, but you have the audacity to hold his feet to the fire as if you have just absolved yourself out of every transgression. Like I hate it because even in my reviews, I noticed I stopped picking at Jimmy and started looking at Chelsea so much just because her double standards were just so mind-blowing to me. And I'm thinking to myself, how dare you say anything to Jimmy knowing what you got going? The fact that you have this man's wristband alone will be just cause for me to leave your ass. What? Bye. Why you keep that? Bye. I don't like this girl.
No, I'm with you. I can't lie to you. 100%. I'm not even going to play with you on that particular aspect. I think they're both having conversations which probably shouldn't have had in that particular aspect. Taking it forward, obviously, Jimmy and Chelsea got to a point where they didn't actually end up at the altar. Obviously, there was a couple of arguments in between that time. Jimmy told her he just wanted her to stop touching. Jimmy, I've never heard him. I said this. I've never heard a man tell his woman, "You need to stop initiating too much. Like you need to stop coming on to me."
Y'all stay begging for initiation, so that's crazy.
That's when I knew old boy's gone. I said it. They didn't believe me. I said down. Old boy's gone. What was your thoughts to that situation as well? Before we get to obviously him saying no, that situation was kind of crazy as well. Him not wanting her to initiate and stuff.
Honestly, that's not my favorite fight. Can I talk about my favorite fight?
Go for it. Yeah.
My favorite fight. Yo, Jimmy is actually my GOAT, and I hate to say it, but he is. So they were having the discourse about the stepping back from his friends, right? And he was like, "You haven't actually told me outright. I would like for you to step back. So ask me the question. I would like you to step back." I'm not stepping back.
I'm not stepping back. While the toothbrush was in his mouth.
I'm sorry, he ate. If we're talking about having a little bit of dark arts and that's what we want to promote, sure. When it comes to that, I'll take it. Because no, honestly, like you want to have these ideals of a relationship, but then not even match them yourself. So for example, you're having all these issues with me, but you haven't explicitly told me, hey, this is an issue of mine. You're harboring things in your mind and then just exploding at random moments. And then now I'm supposed to just pick up all the pieces and be like, oh, sorry, okay, let me fall in line when I don't know what the issue is. So I did appreciate that. Was it petty? Yes. But I do think it's important for Chelsea to know if something bothers you, say something. If you want him to act a certain way, say something. If you're feeling insecure about something, say something. Like, stop creating issues. Oh, Mackenzie said, ooh, I almost swore. F Mackenzie. Oh, I heard Jessica was out. F Jessica. What is going on here? You're not feeling safe here. And until we address that, everything else is just pointless. So I did like that he put her in her place, y'all, because I was tired of hearing her mouth.
I can't hate you. I can't lie to you. He did eat with that part. He's literally told her, listen, I'm not stepping back. Now, what's your thoughts, though, to the situation, though? What's your thoughts to the situation that both of these people had situations with friends, which I feel are absolutely mad to me personally? And I have to always say this, I preface it by saying maybe I'm a jealous person and I need to work on that and my own insecurities. But Negroes have got exes that they're best friends with and calling on FaceTime after they've been engaged or whatever, and they've chosen. And we've got people out here who have friends who are very close to them who they've had sex with. On both sides, I see madness, and I would cause fire to raise from the heavens like Elijah, and I would come and singe those friendships right there and then. It just couldn't be me, personally. It just couldn't be me. Maybe, and I always say this, I preface it by saying, because, you know, dark arts is me, and obviously as well, I just know that I can't do it because what I've done in the past. So I want to know your thoughts. How do you see it? Maybe you see it differently.
I'm not going to say that I'm the type of person who will be totally fine with it. No, but if somebody tells me this and I say, babe, that's not an issue, I can't then just turn it into an issue when it's convenient for me. True. So I did not like that Chelsea did that. What's his name? Jimmy did it at the end too. Oh, well, you called okay, well, why didn't you address that when it was happening? That's the issue that I have with both of them. So, I mean, is it mad? Yeah. Would I be okay with it? I don't know. I haven't been in that situation yet. However, if I agree that that is okay with me, I can't then spin it whenever it's convenient for me. That's not right. So I wanted to know, when was she told? Was it before she met the friends or after? Because if it was after, then that's a little bit choppy. But if it was before, and then she sat in them girls' face and smiled and said, "I love this," well, I can't side with you then. You said it was fine, so what's the problem?
Telling you.
Be honest. Chelsea loves to lie.
Oh, she can revisionist. She's a revisionist history champion, boy. I told you she got convenient. I call it convenient amnesia. The first time I ever
Absolutely.
experienced it, it's crazy. I'm telling you, when people have convenient amnesia, they conveniently forget stuff. And I'm telling you, it's if you want to know gaslighting, that's how it starts. You see, sometimes we call too much things gaslighting when we have different opinions about how a scene was made. But Chelsea has, on several occasions, what I call convenient amnesia. It just seemingly just disappears from her mind, or she literally changes a scenario in her head and makes it more deeper or more crazy than it actually is. So I don't play with people like her, because you'll be questioning your own sanity by the end of that conversation, and whether
I was
you
questioning
really are.
my sanity.
Did I see what I saw?
Yeah, I'm like, what is happening? Yeah, she's wild.
I definitely hear that. Obviously, he let her down, obviously, towards the end, and said, listen, it is what it is. I can't choose you. What did you think of that last conversation, and what was your thought process to that?
I mean, I wish I could have gone into more detail in my own video, just because, like I said, I've been focused so much on Chelsea. I do think that he was making excuses, because the stuff that he was bringing up was stuff, like I said, he could have addressed at the time. From the time that he said he was done with the relationship, and then I don't know what she said to him that made him come back in. I'm saying, no, this is fake. Like, you said you were done. You're done. And then the stuff that he was using as reasons to why the relationship needs to be over, I'm just like, okay, Jimmy, like, same way Miss Girl has double standards, it looks like so do you. And it almost seems like y'all actually would have been a good match at this point. But yeah, no, I just don't like when people collect information and then want to just dump it all on you at one time. Address things in the moment, or at least have a time to address it if in the moment it's a little too heated. Because this, I'm going to harbor onto things, and you're just supposed to know I'm mad. I'm not a child. This is dumb. We're not doing this.
You ain't telling lies. I'm with you. I can't lie to you. I'm not even gonna say too much on that. I just think to myself, I think he was done before then. But you know, when you're not fully done, you want to try and make it work. You give the person a chance. He was done when they had that conversation. Then they were downstairs, and she was moving mad, and she kept on saying we like she's French. And then he had that conversation, and then and then at the end, I think at the end he was done, because once she said that thing on camera, it was just like the final blow. It's like, I can't trust you, even, my deep things that I've told you. Like, you could have blasted me off camera, but you wanted to blast me on camera. That tells me that you have no limits. You know what I mean? That tells you have no limits, no respect for me. And you're a revisionist on history as well. So, I mean, he made the right choice. We know that already, but, I'm glad he did it before the altar. All right, cool. Well, let's move on from there, because actually we now have 1,150 people in the room. Shout out to you guys in the room. I guess we need to do this more, because they're trying to say something. You know what I mean? What do you want to say? Okay, all right, yeah. They probably heard my little thing earlier on and thought to themselves, they're gonna nuke me. But listen, shout out to you guys in the chat. It's 1,050 of you guys in here. Thank you for joining us so far. We're in the last segment of our kind of conversation. We're talking about AD. I think it's probably the part that you guys have been waiting for, because there's a lot to unpack. It's the mum, it's the dad, it's AD, it's Clay. And so we're going to unpack it for you guys in the next few moments. But if you are here, again, this is a great collaboration between myself and the magnanimous, glorious, wonderful, entertaining Queen E. Oh my gosh. You're going to get me in trouble. You're going to get me in trouble.
It's banter, guys. It's banter.
Oh man. But yes, no, it's a great collaboration between two great content creators. So if you're loving the content, please like the live. And I'm sure there'll be more collaboration between myself and Queen E in the future as well. Queen E, we're going to talk about AD and Clay now. This is what I've been waiting for. This is that end of that relay when it's about to hit that 100-meter sprint, and Usain's got the ball and is about to run. So talk to me. What's your thought process? Because I know, obviously, like myself, you followed that journey from the very beginning, and we all saw the AD and the Matthew situation. If that wasn't the red flag, that was the lie of landing on the moon. What's your thoughts to obviously AD and the Matthew situation first before we even get to AD and Clay?
I fear for my sisters. Like, if anybody's out there like AD, I fear for my sisters, because even when she found out he was saying the same things to her that he was saying to other people, it seemed to me he would have still had a chance if he would have talked his way out of it. And it's interesting because I said on my channel, and I know they want to fight me, but it's fine. There was a conversation between Clay and AD where she said, I'm not going to do a long-term fiance thing. If you say no, I'm not going to date you. But there was a line in there to me that implied if there's enough conversation about it, she would consider staying. So I'm seeing this being a theme with AD. And even at the final remarks, she said, there's nothing he would have told me which would have made me say no at the altar. Sis, throw that ish out the window. Because there absolutely should be plenty of things that somebody says to you that makes you say, this is not for me, no matter how desperate for marriage you are. So that was the issue for me. I'm like, the man is literally feeding you sweet nothings and you're just going to take it. Talking about Matthew, girl, you're in danger. And then here came Clay. So.
Listen, I hear you. I mean, firstly, for me, AD, missing the Matthew situation where everybody was like, Matthew's a problem. I've been there, you know what I mean? Like, where you want to be that one person that believes in that person. I do understand, where she's coming from. I guess that's why I had a bit more compassion on her later on. But I think, yeah, she ignored everybody else's thought process on Matthew. When Matthew even came out and ended up choosing the other girl instead as well, the other Amber. I mean, it was just problematic, to be honest, all over the gaff and all over the table. But we knew that was a problem from then. We knew that she's willing to ignore some of those flaws of the person and see the greatness in that person, which I can understand is a beautiful thing if it's done on the right person. Done on the wrong person, it does end in carnage as well. But then obviously that doesn't happen. Clay gets a chance. He too, at that point in time, was like, I want to see you. Gonna want to see you. He wanted to see her and wanted her to, talk about the looks aspect. Did you think that was a problem? I know the show Experiment is done in terms of not being able to see the looks of the person. Did you see that as a problem when Clay mentioned that aspect in wanting that he couldn't marry unless he saw the looks? I think that's when I knew that he wasn't going to marry her, probably.
I think it's the fact that he said he would not do it if you don't measure up to whatever image he had in his mind. I actually don't think it's an issue for people to explore physical characteristics, because when Kenneth and Britney did it, nobody had anything to say. Like, they did the same thing. So the issue became, in this experiment where it's a possibility that you're not going to be matched with your type, are you still capable of finding love? And it seemed like that wasn't going to be the case for him. So why are you here? And then the whole time he wasn't ready for marriage. Why are you here? He didn't get the timeline. Why are you? So many questions made me wonder, why is this man here? I assume it's for a platform, and hey, congrats, you got one now. But yeah, I don't think exploring physicality is wrong. I think in an experiment where physical shouldn't be the focal point, I have an issue with you saying it's a hard no if you don't match my image in my mind. So
You know what? Wrong experiment, wrong show. But I understand the premise of why he felt that way, right? And I can't wait to do a video on this as well. It's biblical too, Jacob. But listen, it's okay. The Bible says he hated Leah. It's like he hated Leah at that point, no matter how much weak eyes she had. But this situation, obviously, between Clay and AD in terms of the look situation, I understood. I wasn't seeing him as shallow or anything. I just felt to myself, he's on the wrong show. Do you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of Chris from Married at First Sight, that season with Paige.
So many people have been making that parallel. Oh man!
Because it's a type of look, and I don't know how real we can get here, but we can get some realness from me. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna say it. There's a type of look that certain guys like Clay and the Chris's, they like. Right?
Oh yeah.
There's a certain look. There's a certain facial structure and feature they like on a woman. So they have that kind of look that they want. I knew that straight away. As soon as I saw AD, I was like, she's not gonna fit that look, because when brothers have a very specific type of look, you kind of know what their look is. And I don't think it's because she's. It might be because it's light skin. They both said something about colorism. So to be honest, neither of them are free. But you know, there's a certain type of phenotype they might say, or kind of like a featureism that they like, and so I kind of knew that straight away. He gonna have a problem. IG model look. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. That look.
And the fact that he kept, Jesse said it a lot in a very blunt way, but it's true. I'm yet to see him say, "You are gorgeous. You are so beautiful. You're so pretty." It's always, "Okay, body is T. Yeah. Okay, period. Yeah. Okay, but like, so we understand she is stacked. What else? What else?" It doesn't even have to be physical, but honestly, what else? Even physically, if that's all you can focus on, do you at least think she's pretty? Do you at least think she's beautiful? At least we can start from there. You telling me when she's walking up the aisle, he's like, "Okay, body." That's the first thing you think of when your fiance is walking up to you at the altar. Throw it away. Throw it away. And then it hurts me, because I know the history of Black women specifically and the objectification of our bodies. And I feel like sometimes maybe AD leans into it a
little bit
to avoid. No. I think she always leans into it. I'm saying sometimes for two different things. Sometimes she leans into it to avoid being uncomfortable. And sometimes she leans into it because she feels like maybe that's the best attribute that she can lean on the most, you know? So it is sad. It's so sad to watch, because whenever he does that, you see the material. Girl, ask him about anything else. Like, honestly, can you think, you, Kojo, of any attribute that this man has complimented this woman on?
No, and we knew that. Yeah, no.
Literally not. I can't think of anything he likes about AD besides how patient she is for him, how much he has grown because of her. Like, nah, bro. Nah. That's embarrassing.
You know what's interesting though? What's interesting? Okay, I mean, I agree with you. I think he was never sold on her looks wise, and I remember I said this, that the reveal. I said I didn't want to look too deep into it, but his facial expression when he came out, there's a little tinge, and then when he was kissing her shoulder, and I'm telling you, if I'm not lipsing your face off and I'm lipsing your shoulder, yeah, just know your body's what I'm doing. You know, I'm here to do Sierra body pie, because
Did you see them on the couch, Kojo? The man was leaning back so far. She laid on top. You telling me you have fine, sexy gal laying on top of you, and you don't lean in to grab her. You don't rub up on nothing. You don't like her. Like, man,
it's tough. You know, it's tough because, and the thing is, as men. Maybe, you know, no, let me say men. I'm going to say something. Please bear with me, ladies, because, you know, you already shoot me down for the makeup situation. So let me tell you this now. Bear with me, okay? So, you know, this situation, I think also with AD, we have to also understand something as well. Her body has been her highest attribute, not her face. I'm not going to say it. I know it's going to sound mad, but just hear me out. Because when you know your body can attract a higher level than your face can, you are going to lean more into that. If we're talking about, I don't know what's the term we call it, sexual marketplace, right? You know what your body can pull and what your face can pull. They're two different spectrums. And I remember this back in the day. One of my boys said this thing to me, right? And maybe he said to me, "Bro, I like a pretty face before I like a pretty body." And I used to be like, "How?" But the type of girls that he was pulling, I can understand. The girls, it was a certain level. He was high level. You know what I'm saying to you? But what I also realized is the men that love the body also love sex a lot more than they loved actually the woman. Because as men, we are actually attracted to the face, not just the body. If you're attracted to the body before the face, I'm going to tell you, you're probably going to want to have sex with her. You might not love that girl. You get what I'm saying to you? Because a part of the face is also a part of the connection with that person, attraction for us as men. So I think AD's clocked the body's catching man them that I would never regularly get with my face. And let me tell you why I think that also. because their hair was never on point. I just can't understand it. And I'm never going to shoot. I'm not shooting black women. I want you to understand this, right? I want you to understand this. When you know your face is your money maker. No, queen, trust me. Trust me in this. Listen to me. Listen. I know it's going to sound mad, but I'm having it's a real conversation right now. I'm going to make it real. When you know your face is the money maker, everything around your face becomes important to you.
Some
Because it's your
people
money
just
maker.
don't know how to do hair.
No,
Okay.
no, it wasn't, because even when she came back, the hair was still looking a bit some way. Even at the wedding, it was looking some way. I'm trying to. I want to make sure people understand this, because it's about what people are perceiving and how men are perceiving this instinctually. They will never tell you this. Men will never say this, but they will act on it. Because a lot of times, a lot of it is instinctual. So when I was looking at her, I was like, why is she spent? Her body is A1. Do we know? I don't know anybody on any show I've watched reality TV that has a better body than AD. I mean, her body was crisp. Do you know why? Because she invested in her body. But her face and everything around it, she didn't invest in it as much. So now your weave is looking mad and your hair's looking out of place. But let me tell you something, and I'm telling you this for a reason. Because when you meet certain gal of a certain caliber, they'll tell you, listen, I can't play with my hair, can't play with my hands, can't play with my nails, can't play with my toes. Because they realize it's all a part of the aesthetic that draws that person in, that they actually want. But if you focus on the body, there's a certain type of male that comes after the body. They're usually users. Because those men want you for your body, because the body is a part of the sexual attraction, not the physical attraction. That's what I'm going to say. I know it sounds mad, I know it sounds painful, but that's what I'm going to say, that truth. It's painful, you know what I mean?
No, it's not that I disagree. It's just there's certain things that I wouldn't say on YouTube.
Yeah, I get you.
What you're saying is true, and to soften it for the people who might have been panged in the heart just a little bit, she knows it, because at the end she said, "Why am I never good enough?" To be honest, she's used to, sure, maybe leading with the physical, but then from there, the only thing she can bring to the table is how much she can pour into the man. And unfortunately, there's no formula to, if I do this, he will absolutely stay. If he wants to stay, he will. But this girl, what? Let me build you up. You're so great, baby. What did she say? You're such a powerful man. I will jump off a cliff with you. She's trying to build him up, thinking now this will make him stay. No. So the body, it worked for a little bit, but that wasn't sustainable. The pouring into him, it worked for a little bit, but that wasn't sustainable. She knows this is all the resources that I got and it's not working. And I feel like that's part of why she broke down so much, because it's like, well, I ain't got nothing else. So.
And I mean, listen, I think and I understand, like, sometimes you're in a place where you want to just, what you're giving out is because you want that same thing. You know what I'm saying to you? And by the way, I wasn't saying AD's ugly, by the way, guys, just to make sure no one thinks I'm saying that. I think she's a beautiful woman. But yeah, I think I understand why AD was leading with that, because that comes from a place of rejection. When you are consistently rejected, whether it's your childhood you faced rejection, whether it's in your dating history that you faced rejection, where men didn't love you the way they wanted to love you, it leads you to a place where what you want, which is you want unconditional love, where someone just kind of covers you in all angles, you tend to give it out, thinking that by giving it out, you're going to receive it. Unfortunately, when you cover, if you don't have a good balance and a good eyesight in terms of how you see the field and how you see the opposite sex, you tend to cover the wrong type of people. There is actually nothing wrong with her being able to cover people and their flaws. It's actually a godlike quality. When you read 1 Corinthians 13, you read an AMP, it will tell you overlooking people's flaws is godlike behavior. It's love. But when you do it with the wrong kind of person and you consistently do the wrong person, you always get rejected and you get hurt and you end up becoming a builder-bear boo. And I can tell you this from first-hand experience. I'm a project builder too. So I'm not here to shoot AD. I'm here to tell you the truth. I'm a project builder a little bit. I can't lie to you. It's something I've been healing from, but I got a bit of a project builder in me, because people that tend to the people that end up in jobs where they heal people tend to overutilize that skill and put themselves in positions where they're healing people. And that's not where you want to be in a relationship. So I understood where she was coming from, but it also comes because you've been in place of rejection. And so you're trying to cover people. And I actually felt for her. It was a problem, but I felt for her in that situation. You know what I mean? Covering Clay in that situation.
No, I really did feel for her. I mean, like I said earlier, most common compliment he can give her is, "Hey girl, your body is tea." Okay, I hear that from my girlfriends all the time. Like, I would want my man to say, this woman has great character. She's kind, she's compassionate, you know what I mean? She's generous, she's loving, she's all these things. Rather than, okay, first of all, body's tea. He's gonna let you know all the time, the body is body and body is body. She knows, okay? She makes me feel so loved. I know she loved. Man, when he was talking to his groomsmen and he said, "I know without a shadow of a doubt, this girl loves me. She loves me. I was waiting for, and I know without a shadow of doubt, I love her." And if at the very least he could have just said with so much fervor, "I love her," I would have thought, okay, so he sees beyond whatever's on the surface with these two. But it's just not there. I'm really trying to think outside of body and their gossip, what other attributes of their relationship has he highlighted? And that, even for him to say gossip is crazy, but let's not go into that, Joe.
Well, let's go into obviously this wedding day situation because old father Clay came out, spoke to his son, um, spoke to his son, and I had some hours to kind of think about it. The dad was really trying to take the shine. Like he's still trying to live his best life. Like he said it, he actually said it, but he said it about his track career. He's like, "I live vicariously through you," and that's why I said he's still living vicariously through you, son, because this the way he's behaving. Not in a bad way per se, but just the kind of the way I think he didn't realize that he had to play the father. He's almost played like a father who's a friend, and you can do
But
that
that's
when your
always
son
been
kind of
their
grows up.
dynamic. That's been their dynamic forever.
Flo, you can go on. Tell your truth, sis.
Like, I wasn't surprised by his little motivational speech because it seems like that's how he's always taught. The fact that you have the gumption to take your son on infidelity trips, to me just shows you've never been a father. No offense.
Oh,
You've never been a father.
oh,
Okay. He was told, because his own dad was in his own world. It seems like, okay, me and my friend kind of differ on this. I don't know if his dad was in the house or not, but at the very least, he wasn't present, right? So his own dad wasn't in the picture in some form or fashion. Then he said his mother said, "The two things in life I need to do is take care of my wife and be a good father." And he truly believes that one of those things he did very well, but unfortunately, by way of mistreating his wife, he was mistreating his kids. And I'm thinking, like, when did this thing start? Because Clay is only what, 31? He might be 32 now. So the parents have been divorced for a minute. When was he taking his son on these infidelity trips? Like, I don't know. To me, he obviously had never been a father to Clay. He had been a male presence. Not me being called right now. He had been a male presence in the household, and that's very clear in this thing. Sports, you were so good. NCAA, was it NCAA or NAACP? I don't know, whatever, one of those. The accolades are so important, and it's now interesting that I think even Clay put a lot of weight on his accolades, but when it came to his personal, development, where he was emotionally and all that stuff, struggling, and knew he was struggling. I'm also thinking of the dad when he had the conversation with the mom. Again, when it came time for him to be emotionally aware, emotionally vulnerable, struggled. The little crocodile tears, sorry, Margarita was not buying it, and I wasn't buying it either. Margarita was like, "Listen, our son is messed up because of you, and you need to own up to that." "No, but it's just because my dad." Okay. If you are still holding on to that inner child with you who wasn't fed, who wasn't given that present father, and you cannot show up to be a father to your own child, you got your own work to do, child. I think as a family, is it 6 of them? I think it's 4 kids. All 6 of them got to go to therapy, all of them together.
not together. I'm with you, and I'm gonna say, listen. I think the father, unfortunately, didn't do his job as a father. I think, like he said, he never had a father, right? But it's interesting. Sometimes as men, we really do need our fathers, man. Do you know what I mean? Because they play such an important part in the way that we are able to navigate the world. And, the dad, it's interesting that at that moment, when he was talking to, Clay's mum, it was interesting that moment that he chose, and maybe I shouldn't say crocodile tears per se, like the audience is saying, but maybe it was interesting that he got emotional in that moment to talk about how he never had a father, but never really talked about the correction that he had to make for that situation. So I was like, okay, I don't know if he's fully, and I said this on my live the other day, which is, I felt like he hasn't fully grasped the damage that's been done to him and that he's impacted his son with. And I felt like, I don't think Clay's been able to also reflect the damage that's been done to him through the father's actions. Because sometimes fathers don't know the damage that they've done to their children until their children buck up and tell them, this is the damage that you've done to me. And so the father's been able to live through Clay because so long as Clay was an athletic young man, they had a connection. And and also he can get away with being a father who would be impressive because he's a track runner, right? So your father's kind of doing the work, but he's not doing the emotional legwork that needs to be done that your childhood needs in order for you to be an upright, standing citizen. So yeah, go for it, yeah.
I was going to say, I think too, what his version of correction was, being Trevor, the dad, was because his dad was seemingly there, but casually, if he was there presently, that's already him doing more than his own dad did. But unfortunately, he doesn't realize that the presence that he was giving to Clay was just as detrimental. And so, yeah, I think to him, he processed that as, okay, so my dad wasn't here. Maybe let me step in and be a friend to my son, and maybe that would be better. But you took it too far. You overcorrected. And now it's having the same issues because he's not your friend. He's your son. Your son should never be on an infidelity trip. Ever. But because, let's be boys, because, my dad wasn't there. So I guess let's be yeah, his dad, a lot of trauma to unpack there. Clay, a lot of trauma to unpack there. And my friend had an interesting perspective. She said, this process was therapy for Clay, and it's sad because it's at the expense of AD, but it came up so much. And my dad, because maybe this is the time that Clay has actually had to confront it head on. Whereas time before, he just, hey man, let me hop into this next bed. Who cares? Who worries about all that emotional stuff? But now he has to address those things. And so anytime we see Clay on screen, my dad cheated on my mom. My dad cheated on my mom. Okay, nigga, we got it. Jeez.
I think, I think he was probably the warning to AD, but I think also as well, and this is the problem with having, this is a problem when you don't actually have anyone that you can relate and bounce off. I think it's also a part of the real-time realization of what's happening. Yeah. Like, I think this was him coming into a moment where he's actually realizing that actually I'm going through the situation and I'm fully realizing what's happening now. I'm actually starting to see it. I'm actually having a mirror to me now and actually can see probably parts of my dad's behavior. I'm seeing it come to fruition and to light. And as men, oftentimes, because we don't get to sit down, and I'm not saying it's any woman's fault, this is our fault, but we don't get to sit down and actually sit down with ourselves and then process the emotions. And a lot of times we don't even have the emotional language. So we don't even have the vocabulary to begin to express what we're actually going through. And I think the process kind of showed him a mirror to himself. And I've always said this, that sometimes as men, we can be lazy, but also because we deem emotions being weak. So what happens is women end up becoming our therapists. So what AD ended up becoming was his therapist and actually showing him the mirror and going, this is what you're actually going through, this is what you're actually happening, this is what's like this. And it's like, first time you're having a realization. So I think the constant him telling her, saying, my dad was like this, my dad says, is because there's been no place that he's probably been able to actually expound that thought process in a safe way. He should be doing it as a therapist, by the way, but he's never taken itself to therapy. So now the woman becomes the therapist in a relationship when she should really just be his friend. And you know, I've said this before on my channel that sometimes some women are not your partner. They should be your friend, because what they can offer you is that therapy, but in a friendship level, not on a relationship level. Because nobody should be a therapist in a relationship. So I think he was having a real time situation with her in those moments, and that's why he was saying what he was saying. But I want to be fair. You know, he has to take accountability, because he dragged her to the end of this situation, knowing that there's a lot of him that was unsure about the situation, and you are hoping that she would call it off. I know that in the back of his mind, he was hoping that she would call it off, because he is not a relationship leader, as he said himself. He can do finance, he can do this, he can do that, but he does not know how to lead in relationships. And he thought to himself, maybe AD would call it off. You know, he took himself off the leadership role.
Yeah.
Man, no. So obviously they called it quits at the end, and he said no. The last conversation they obviously had in the room. Tell us your thoughts before we jump off here. Tell us your thoughts, Queen. Don't do that face.
It pained me. Okay, are we gonna start with empathy or what? Like what?
Oh,
What are we
you can
starting
tear the
with?
plaster off. You can tear the plaster off. We ain't need to empathy. I've already done a whole hour of empathy.
Okay, let me start with empathy.
Oh my god.
Not as long sermon like you was doing yesterday, but it
Black
pained
church.
me to see AD think, if I love this man enough, he'll stay. Because history has shown us that has never been the case. He has to love you for you and want to be a good person. There's nothing you can do to make the next person a good person. That's a choice. So it did pain me to see her go through that. It also pained me when she said, I feel like you used me as a pawn on your own journey. And one thing that I kept asking myself while watching this was every time she had those concerns about him, whatever it was, you could sense, because her face would do all those things. I'm thinking, and that's when you need to ask questions. Because I think she felt, if I'm here as a soft landing place, then I will be rewarded. Nah, there's no guarantee of that. Absolutely no guarantee of that. So, yeah, that's the empathy. The criticism is, like I said, there were plenty of opportunities for you to investigate more. And it's interesting too how I saw in my comments how many ADs are present, because from the from can you see me, because you looking blank? Oh, okay. From the time that they had that conversation where he went super quiet and then he said, I feel like I'm gonna disappoint you. Some people in my comments are like, why are people so afraid of, silences and whatever? There's nothing wrong with silence in conversation. But you can see he was going through something in his mind, and what it came out as is, I feel like I'm gonna disappoint you. I wanted AD so badly to say, and why is that? What did you just process in your mind that brought you to this decision? So many moments she could have said that, but she felt, let me be the soft landing place for him, and then felt like she was a pawn. You had every opportunity to get up and leave. Every opportunity to get up and leave. The man literally said to your face, I am too immature for marriage. I do not have the skills to be a leader in a marriage. When it comes to all these other things, I excel. Relationships, I'm piss poor. The timeline doesn't work for me. Am I deeply in love? Well, he didn't say this to her, but he told the cameras, I love her, but I'm not deeply in love with this woman. Like, so many things. So, in as much as I did feel for her because she's crying, I don't like to see my sisters cry. You weren't a pawn. You were an active player. You chose to stay. So,
Listen, and like I said, I'll do another live another time, but yes, and I'll rip off the band-aid. But absolutely, I absolutely hear you. One thing I always say is, and I think someone like AD, I need people like AD to stop playing the victim, right? So as much as I gave her empathy the other day, it's because I know that she's cut, she's bruised, she's broken. Once she gets over those particular wounds, the next conversation is, you're not a victim. And this is what I always say to people, review the tape. You see, if I know I'm going to do, and I've always said this, I have my time in the street, so I know. One thing I always said was, that if I get played, I'm going to review the tape. Because if I review the tape, I have to look at the points where I contributed towards my downfall, right? What mistakes did I make? You have to think of yourself as a competitor. You have to think of yourself almost as a player. Anybody who has played any type of sports, they review the tape and they look back over, what did I do wrong? What can I improve of? And if you look at yourself as a victim, rather than going, do you know what, I was a part of my loss here, you're going to always look at someone else as a reason as to why you are in the state you're in. And whenever you're in that place, you actually can't begin to make changes because you're always looking outside of the tape of your own personal interaction and actions and looking at someone else. Mm-hmm. And so in this situation with AD, from the very beginning, we obviously get the beauty of being able to be objective because we're outside the situation.
Yeah.
I also understand how painful it is and how real it is when you're in a situation. But now when you look back at the situation, you have to look at it from the perspective of, okay, from the beginning of the thing to the end, there were clues. Once you can review that and look at it and go, actually, I now see the clues. I missed this and this and this and this. She can make future changes. If not, she will continually become the issue, probably even get married and be a victim in the marriage too. You know what I mean? So, there was conversations where, you felt like, if you're right, if she asked one more question and just kind of asked him a bit better, it would have been an issue. The part where he said that, do we have to get married at a point? The part where it really finished me, okay? The part where it finished me was that conversation on the kitchen dining table, and he said, do we have to get married at that time? Listen, can I just say this now for the sisters at the back? You already know this. But if a brother has to question the timeline of when he wants to get married to you, just know he's not really trying to get married to you. Not because he doesn't like you, per se. He doesn't like you enough to be able to get married. Because why are we fretting about this timeline? The timeline has been the same since you joined the show. You knew the timeline would be this timeline. So the moment he started questioning that timeline, we know that he is starting to fret. And, she will look back at it now and go, okay, it is what it is. Someone said she took him back there online with their families at dinner 2023 December. God have mercy.
And that's why when I said in that same conversation, she isn't shutting down the fact that a relationship can still be developed after this if he said no. If people actually listen to it, she said, I don't think I can date you after, and I don't want to be a long-term fiance. So honestly, she could keep the ring. They could stay engaged. And then maybe within a year, if it works out, because what was his issue? The timeline, then she'd be cool with it. I don't know if they're still together, but seeing that they were together in the holidays did not surprise me whatsoever because she did not say it is an absolute no. The fact that I was telling my guy friend this just yesterday. No, just today. I was like, after you break up with somebody, would you kiss them? He said, so we're not broken up. Why are we still intimate in that way? The fact that she, don't piss me off. The fact that she caved, I said, oh, let him talk to her enough times. She's going to be back over there. She's going to be back over there. I think a time where I really saw that take place outside of the pods, because he did it in the pods too, was the meeting with the mom. Because he didn't come home that night. Now that one, I'm a little bit like, okay, did he even know that you had something planned? Because I felt like she was trying to paint him like, wow, I did this whole thing and then he didn't even show up. Did he know? But anyways, neither here nor there. She had all these issues. But mom, look at him. He's so cute. And look at him. He has all this potential. And look, and then he came, I really want to love your daughter. I want to take care of your daughter. Like, she's not looking at what's actually been done. She's just listening to what he's saying. And he can whisper sweet nothings until kingdom come. Clay is so good at that when it comes to AD. And then the kicker for me, you know what? Let me read you this Bible verse. Oh, Lord, he knows what he's doing. He knows what he is doing. And AD doesn't look at the actions. She listens to the words. And unfortunately, even the devil can quote the Bible, sister. But she don't want to hear that. So
listen, I hear it. Listen, our time is up. Look, I think we could do a whole live on Clay and AD, and I think people would want to join because I think this is obviously a huge talking point, and we didn't even go deep into the mum situation. I think we'll definitely, I'll talk to Queenie behind the scenes, but I think there's a whole live to do separately on Clay and AD, if I'm honest with you, because there's just too much to unpack in a short amount of time.
You didn't
'cause
even
there was
answer
a
your
lot of
question in
conversations.
the title. Answer your question.
What, Black Love with Clay and AD dead?
You wrote
I
it.
mean, listen, I think Black Love is well and truly alive. But it's definitely dead with Clay and AD if they continue the way they're going. I personally don't have an issue with her taking him back, you know. I had no issue with that. My issue was, I think when something dies like that, you need time to allow the person to be able to go and do what they said they're going to do, and to see if they will willingly go and do it. My issue is if she took him back and there was no time where he went to spend time on the thing he was going to do, he didn't go and do the therapy, he didn't go and do this. That's my issue. Because in that particular aspect, he isn't going to change. And there's no reason for him to change because there is no pain to make him change. He's got you in all aspects. And if he really was going to actually change, he would have never let you go to the altar in the first place. He would have told you straight, we ain't going to the altar. I'm going to therapy and I'm going to do this therapy thing and we're going to reconnect. He would have told you the plan already. When men are invested in something, they tell you the plan. Listen, any man that can't tell you a plan ain't a man that's going to lead you. A man that doesn't tell you a plan is not involved in your life like that in any way. Don't be confused. He hasn't got a plan because he doesn't want to give you a plan, or he doesn't know how to plan because he's not a leader. And you don't want that kind of man because you end up leading him. So I was expecting him to kind of be like, look, the marriage ain't happening. I'm going to do therapy. We're going to get back on track because I want you and you want me and I love you. Cool. Then that would have been a plan and she can get on board with that. Do you get what I'm saying to you? But he didn't do that. And most men wouldn't do that because most men won't want to change if they're getting everything from you in the first place. So yes, in this situation, Black Love is dead. In this situation, if she took him back without there doing the therapy aspect. So, you know what I'm saying to you. But he got some serious work he got to do because he's going to do it again to another woman. He's going to do it again. He's got a lot of work to do. But we'll discuss that another time. But yes, Queen, thank you so very much for joining us. Audience, if you haven't subscribed to Queen E's channel, make sure you do. She's a fabulous reviewer. Does some great takes as well, and does some great content for you guys on a daily. So you know what I mean. And isn't the hair looking lovely? You know what I mean.
No, this is expired.
Yeah,
Don't
we
do
love
that.
it, baby. No, we love the hair.
You gonna clown me like you just clowned AD? Don't do that.
I wouldn't do that
Don't
to you.
do
know I
that.
love this hairstyle. Oh, you don't know I love this
Oh,
hairstyle?
please.
You didn't know
Oh,
that?
why?
Looking like
He
a
lying
real
now.
regal
Look at him
queen,
lying
you know?
now. Lying now.
Real
He
regal
just took
queen, you know?
AD 25 minutes ago.
Baby, your hair look good. What are you talking about?
It's all grown.
It's one of my favorite hairstyles. What are you talking
A
about?
bun. Now y'all know. The girls trying to get
Listen,
at Cujo. It's
what-
the bun. Cujo.
it's the one with the
Cujo.
braid.
It's the bun.
Let me stop. Okay. Anyway, listen, audience. I don't know, Queenie, you want to say anything else to the audience before we bounce?
No, man, I'm working hard. Make it worth it. Please subscribe. That's all.
All right, audience, thank you so much. We'll be back very, very soon. Much love, much appreciation. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. There's not much I wouldn't do, so be careful on the streets. Let me just quickly read out some of these super chat real quick. We've got Crystal P said, that's why AD shouldn't have given away her body. I hear it. And do you think Jimmy ever loved Chelsea? Because he stayed. Well, I think we answered that question. And love this mashup. Did you discuss AD's insecurities? Well, we did in the end. So, baby. But thank you very much, audience. We appreciate you. Much love, much appreciation. We had 1,500 join us. Crazy numbers. And we'll be back after the reunion because that's another thing we got to talk about very soon. So, much love, much appreciation. We'll see you again very soon. Ta-da!